Here is your Radio Theater Channel weekly podcast for download. The RTC still has the very best old-time radio on the live streaming. And if it's music you love, tune in to the RTC Music Channel, where this link and many others are on our website at oldtimeradiolisten.com. Now, here's Jim.
Hello and welcome to the show. This time we'll start off with an episode of The Diary of Fate, the Walter Vincent entry. This is from 1948.
The Diary of Fate. Fate plays no favorites. It could happen to you.
Book 97, page 854.
In The Diary of Fate.
Yes, here it is. The name Walter Vincent. Occupation chemist. Yes, Walter. For 4 years you have been an employee of the Randall Foundation for scientific research. And in that time, you have come to realize how wrong you were to select science as a life work. Although you were diligent and accurate, you lack inventiveness. And many times during recent months, your wife Carol has pointed out in no uncertain terms the long and fruitless road which lies ahead of you. This realization brought you to temptation and a choice. Now for a moment, I, Fate, look ahead to a single instant in your life. An instant of decision.
I don't intend to give up everything now, Walter, no matter what it means.
Good. We still have a chance if we work together. You see, Kramer is going to give Philip that letter at the masquerade.
I don't understand, Walter.
And that means just one thing. I'll have to go to the masquerade in his place. And I'll have to get rid of Philip.
In that decision, Walter Vincent, you will find your goal and your destruction. Soon it will be time for a further entry under your name. When I have written, I will read from the record of Walter Vincent in the Diary of Fate. In the life of Walter Vincent, an infamous decision was made. Yet in the final analysis, it was a little thing, seemingly insignificant, that determined the inevitable outcome. It is ever thus. Remember, Walter Vincent, where it all started? You were driving home from the funeral of Professor Rudolph Teigman, an associate of the Foundation, who had died suddenly of a heart attack. Your wife and Philip Webb, also a chemist at the Foundation, were talking as you drove through the heavy rain.
He was a great scientist, old Teigman. The Foundation is certainly going to miss him.
Strange, isn't it? How suddenly and unexpectedly it can happen. Just like that, and it's all over.
Yeah, that's right, Carol.
I only hope I can achieve half as much in my life as he did in his. I'd consider it a lifetime well spent.
What? How can you say that, Philip? Professor Teigman was a lonely old man. He never really lived in his whole life. He never had any money or fun. Just work and more work. That's all he knew.
Yes, but look at all the splendid things he accomplished.
And where did that get him? I'll bet he wished plenty of times he'd enjoyed life more as he went along. Believe me, I'm not going to stake my happiness on a future I may never see.
Oh, excuse me, Carol. This next corner will be fine, Walter.
Oh, okay, Phil. Glad to drive you on home, though.
No, thanks. But there is one thing.
Yeah?
I'm going out to Teigman's lab tomorrow, and I'd appreciate it if you'd come along and sort of help me put his things in order out there.
Why, sure, Phil. Glad to.
Fine. See you tomorrow, then. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Walter, I meant what I said about that future. I'm completely fed up with the way we live.
Oh, Carol, darling, don't talk like that. We'll get our chance one of these days.
One of these days can be a long, long time. I'm not going to wait much longer.
Oh, you won't have to, honey. With Teigman gone, there are openings all down the line.
Oh.
And I'm almost a cinch to head my department.
Well, we'll see, Walter. We'll see.
Yes, Walter. The pressing impatience in Carol's heart is like a whip to your ambition, because you do anything to make her happy. But the next morning, when the promotions were announced, the one you expected went to Philip. It was a humiliating shock to you, and you knew how Carol would take it. By the time you arrived at Teigman's remote laboratory, you had regained control of yourself, and nothing was said at the promotion as you helped Philip pack the clutter of apparatus, supplies, and papers. And then, Walter, a little thing happened.
I guess you can get most of that stuff in this box, Walter.
Yes, I think so. By the way, what was Teigman working on, Phil? Do you know?
I have no idea. I used to be his assistant, but for the last 6 months, they had me back in the office. I hope there's something in these papers that'll tell us.
Yeah. Well, I'll make a list of everything I put in this box.
Fine. I'll go get something to carry the books in.
Yeah. Oh, blast it anyway.
What happened?
Oh, my pen had leaked. I've smeared ink all over.
Oh, there's probably a blotter in that bottom drawer of the desk. Be back in a minute.
You opened the desk drawer, Walter, and as you searched for a blotter, your eyes fell on something else. Something destined to change your entire life. A notebook. At one glance, you realized what was in it. The results of the last 6 months of intense research by the great Teigman. A completely revolutionary method of cracking crude oil. You heard Philip returning, and quickly you slipped the notebook into your pocket and turned to face him.
By the way, Phil, I haven't congratulated you on your promotion yet. I think it's great.
Thanks, Walter. I appreciate that. It was between us, you know, and, well, I thought maybe you'd...
I'd resent it? No, not me. You make a better executive than I anyway. I'd be lost out of the lab.
Oh, thank you, Walter. I'm taking my vacation soon, and when I get back, let's get together, huh?
Sure.
Oh, by the way, what are you working on, Walter?
Petroleum.
Oh.
Yes, and I think I may have something, too. Don't say anything about it, Phil. You see, I'm not sure yet, but if I'm on the right track, it'll be big. Very big.
Yes, Walter. Because of a leaking fountain pen, you alone had found Teigman's notebook. You could have turned it over to the Foundation, but you had other ideas. In the days that passed, you made certain that nowhere else among Teigman's papers was there a hint of what he had been working on. You checked and tested his formula. It was complete and accurate. Then, at last, you were ready. The startling announcement came out that you, Walter Vincent, had devised a new and revolutionary method for refining crude oil.
This is amazing, Walter. As the director of the Randall Foundation, I congratulate you. And leave it to me, my boy. I'll see to it that you get a position at once where you can really exercise your ability.
Well, thank you, Dr. Kramer.
And congratulations, Walter.
Thank you.
It's great publicity for the outfit. And say, I want you to pose with Dr. Kramer here, and then we'll get some individual portraits, some action shots of you in the lab, too. You know, the papers are going to eat this up.
3 short weeks after you had stolen Professor Teigman's notebook, Walter, your world was completely changed. You had a new job at more than double your old salary. You were known in scientific circles as a very promising young man. And Carol, of course, was delighted. But the change, Walter, had been brought about by your choice for evil. And already forces were gathering against you. Even as you relished your newfound glory, and Carol chattered happily about a forthcoming party, another little thing happened.
Oh, Walter, this will be the first party we've gone to in years where I can really feel like somebody.
Yes, I know. Well, I told you our break would come one day.
Oh, I'm glad it's a masquerade. I've got the most wonderful idea for a costume. Marie Antoinette.
Oh?
But, well, it's going to be expensive.
Oh, darling, I don't care if it is. We can afford it now, and if it'll make you happy, you... Oh, I'll get it, Carol. Hello? Walter Vincent speaking.
This is Dr. Kramer, Walter. Do you know when Philip Webb is coming back from his vacation?
Oh, the day after tomorrow, I think, Doctor.
Oh, that's too bad.
Why? What's the matter, Doctor?
Well, I'm leaving town tonight, and I wanted to see him before I left. A very strange thing just happened, Walter. It was like getting a message from the grave.
Oh, a message from the grave? What do you mean, Doctor?
An envelope addressed to Philip just arrived. It was evidently lost in the mail. You see, it's from Professor Teigman. It must be about the work he was doing when he died.
Yes, Walter. A little thing. A misaddressed envelope. A letter lost in the mail now suddenly loomed up in your life as a huge stumbling block that would topple your whole world into ruin. You knew that somehow you had to get that letter or you were trapped. But you realized that the first thing you had to do was tell Carol. Tell her the whole thing. You had to know if you could depend on her.
And that's the way it happened, Carol. That's the whole story. Well, don't just stand there. Say something.
It's such a shock. I don't know what to say. You've got to get that letter, Walter. Some way you've got to get it.
That's what I wanted you to say, Carol. I had to know if I could count on your help.
I don't intend to give up everything now, Walter. No matter what it means.
Good. We still have a chance, if we work together. You see, Kramer's going to give Philip that letter at the dance.
I don't understand,
And
Walter.
that means one thing. I'll have to go to the masquerade in his place. And I'll have to get rid of Philip.
Yes, Walter. Because of a fountain pen that leaked. A little thing. You were faced with a decision. And your choice was for evil. Now, because of another little thing, a misaddressed envelope, you were threatened with exposure and disgrace. A net of circumstances was closing around you. Soon there would be no escape. Soon, I will write again under your name in the Diary of Fate. It was 3 days later, 3 tense, worried days later, that you, Walter, finally added the last detail to your method of murder. Philip had returned from his vacation, and you had talked to him. Then you explained your scheme to Carol.
Oh, Walter, I'm afraid. Are you sure there's no other way?
Positive. I've looked for that letter every place I possibly could since Kramer's been gone. I can't find it. There's nothing else we can do.
All right, Walter.
Now listen, I've talked to Philip. He's going to the masquerade as Pinocchio. He's got a mask that covers the whole head, and it'll fit me. I told him today that I had to go to New York, so he thinks you're going to the dance with him. I want to be sure a lot of people know that.
Well, that'll be easy. Then what?
Saturday evening, I'll get on the train here and get off when it stops at Maplewood. You meet me there with a car.
And bring you back here.
Yes. Then I'll take care of Philip. We'll go to the dance, get the letter from Kramer, and leave. I'll catch a plane. I've already got the reservation under the name of Jones. I'll overtake the train and get back on it. All you know is that Phil was a little high when he took you home.
Oh, Walter, what if something goes wrong?
Nothing can go wrong, I tell you. Not if we're careful and use our heads. The hardest time will be the dance. We'll really have to play our parts there. And play them well.
Yes, Walter. From now on, you'd have to play a part. And play it well. For murder is a hazardous game. Where they would do the most good, you'd drop casual bits of information about your trip to New York. And that Philip was escorting Carol to the dance. And finally, on Saturday night, you even fixed it so David Sloan, the Foundation's public relations man, was at the station with Carol to see you off.
So if you can drop in and see him, it'll be worth a feature story in his new magazine.
Well, I'll certainly try, David. It all depends on how much time I have.
Well, Mr. Vincent, busy or not, you better find time somewhere to write me every day. Understand?
Sorry you're going to miss that masquerade tonight, old boy. That's the one thing nobody really should miss.
Don't I know it? And I'm sending Carol with Philip Webb. Pinocchio and Marie Antoinette should make quite a pair. Hey, you think I can trust them together?
I think so. Pinocchio's made of wood, you know.
Yes, but there are no strings on him either.
Well, I'll keep an eye on them, Walter. Have a good time in the city and hurry back.
I will, David. Better get aboard, Carol. Now, don't forget, 1 block south of the station at Maplewood. And don't be late.
I won't, don't worry. I'll get rid of David and leave right away.
As the train traveled a few miles to Maplewood, you talked with the porter about your compartment, tipped him lavishly, spoke to the conductor, and made certain that several of the passengers were aware of your presence and would remember you. Then, as the train pulled to a stop in Maplewood, you stepped off quickly, quietly, melted into the crowd. And a few minutes later, you were with Carol in your car, speeding back the way you had come.
Better slow down a little, Carol.
We have to hurry, Walter.
Slow down, I said. All we need right now is to be picked up for speeding. That'd fix things fine.
When we get to Phillips, shall I wait for you?
No. Go on home, put on your costume. I'll pick you up in his car.
All right. We're almost there. It's down on the next block.
Okay, turn here and stop. I'll walk the rest of the way.
Walter.
What?
Walter, be careful.
Don't worry, this will be easy. The tough part's going to be that dance afterwards, and don't forget that for a minute. Now go on home and get dressed. I gotta get going.
What is... Why, Walter, I thought you were on your way to New York.
Well, I'm supposed to be. You're still going to the dance, aren't you?
Of course. I'm just dressing now.
Well, let me in, Philip. Yeah, I got to talk to you.
Sure, come in. What is it, Walter? What's wrong?
Is anyone else here now?
No. Walter, what's the matter?
Philip, are you going to be alone tomorrow?
Why, yes. Yes, I am.
All day? You're not expecting anyone? Not going out?
No, not until 9 tomorrow night. Why?
Oh, that's fine. Philip, I'm in a jam. Bad one. I want to stay here tonight. Could you help me out?
Now, wait a minute. I think you'd better start at the beginning and tell me all about it.
All right, but... Oh, is that whiskey there in the decanter? I really need a drink, Phil.
Well, I'll get it for you. I've never seen you like this, Walter. You're in bad shape. Oh, here you are.
Thanks. Well, Philip, it's like this. Oh, the glass. I'm sorry, Phil. It slipped.
Oh, forget it. You'd better sit down, Walter. I'll pick up the pieces. It's nothing. Go on, sit down, Walter. Walter, the poker, what are you...
Yes, Walter. Killing Philip was simple. For a moment you stared down at him, lying dead in front of his fireplace. Then you moved quickly. You took his keys from his pocket, set his watch ahead to midnight, and smashed the crystal. Arranged the room to look as if he had fallen, and struck his head while replacing a light bulb in the chandelier. Then you entered his bedroom, and when you came out again, you were Philip Webb, fully dressed in the bizarre costume of Pinocchio. A few minutes later, in Philip's car, you picked up Carol and drove to the masquerade.
Walter, you're sure everything's all right? You didn't make any mistakes?
No, I didn't. Now stop worrying me, will you? You keep watching me in there, and just as soon as I get that letter from Dr. Kramer, you fake a headache so we can leave.
All right.
And don't let me get stuck with anybody where I have to talk too much.
I won't.
All right. We better go on in. And for heaven's sake, act like nothing's happened. Everything depends on this now.
Well, I'll be. Pinocchio, you old rascal. Get-up's terrific.
Oh, you like it?
Phil, that's a wonderful costume. I got to get a picture of that one. What a head and what a face.
I told him it was going to be the best in the place.
That's great, Carol. It really is. Say, you're rather pretty good yourself, Marie Antoinette.
Thank you.
It's sure too bad old Walter had to miss this party. We're really going to have a time tonight.
Kramer hasn't shown up yet, Carol, but he should be here any minute. How am I doing? Heard you comment?
You're doing fine. I don't think anybody suspects a thing. Just keep it up.
Don't worry, I will. We can't slip now.
Oh, Philip, pardon me, folks. Phil, Dr. Kramer just came in. He wants to see you a minute. He's back there in the corner.
Oh, thanks a lot, David. I'll go right away.
I'll wait for you here, Philip.
Well. Hello there, Philip, or should I say Pinocchio. That certainly is a fine costume.
Oh, hello, Dr. Kramer.
What I wanted to see you about, Philip, is a letter. It was lost in the mail, I presume. You see, it's for you, from Professor Teigman.
From Teigman?
Yes, I have it here. Do you want it now? I can just easily keep it until Monday.
No, I'll take it now, Doctor, and thank you very much.
Oh, Philip.
Excuse me, Doctor. Yes, Carol?
I'm sorry, but my head is splitting. Would you mind taking me home?
Oh, that's too bad, Carol. Of course not. Come along. I've got it, Carol. I've got the letter. Now nobody will ever know. Now we're set for life.
Yes, Walter, it was all over now. You had the letter. The perfect alibi for murder. All you had to do was leave the dance, get back on the train, and you were safe. But take heed, you who listen, lest you think fate unjust, a conspirator in evil. In a few moments I will write for the last time under the name Walter Vincent. When I have written, I will read from the Diary of Fate. Yes, Walter. As you and Carol moved toward the door of the ballroom, You were confident that your masquerade had been successful. Yes, your impersonation of Philip Webb had been perfect. And now safety lay only a few feet away. But then, Walter, another little thing happened.
Let's get going, Carl.
Oh, my heel.
Carol, what's the matter?
The heel of my slipper had broken, caught in my skirt.
Let me get it.
Attention, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the high spot of the evening. Yes, friends, this has been a wonderful party, and now... Hey, wait a minute. Don't let that Pinocchio get away. Hey, hold it. I've got a big surprise for you. You can't leave now.
I've got to leave.
The Judges Committee has selected the outstanding masquerader of the evening, none other than Pinocchio. And now, folks, it's midnight. And you're prisoner, boy, so remove your mask, Pinocchio, and take a bow, Mr. Philip Webb.
Remove my mask? No!
Come on, folks. He's back. We'll give you a hand, Phil. Come on, take your hand.
Stop it!
I got it all.
Why, it's not Phil Webb. It's Walter Vincent.
Yes, Walter. Your masquerade was perfect. So perfect that you won first prize and destroyed your own alibi. And now, as the seconds tick away inexorably toward the moment of your execution for murder, your wife Carol, for her part in the crime, sits alone in her prison cell, waiting hopelessly for an empty future. And now it is time to close the book. Another entry has been duly noted on the pages of eternity, and justice has been served. In the case of Walter Vincent, as in the cases of all mortals, I, fate, am but the instrument of a plan. And the countless little things that happen are the tools with which I work. Because of a fountain pen that leaked, this man, Walter Vincent, was given an opportunity, and he chose for evil. Then, because the heel of a slipper broke and delayed his escape for a few critical seconds, I, fate, brought him to justice. Ponder well the moral, you who listen, and remember, there is a page for you in the diary of fate.
The cast included Herbert Lytton, Tom Brown, Gloria Blondell, Peter Leeds, John Arthur, Ray Erlenborn, Ivan Ditmars, and Hal Sawyer. Diary of Fate is a Larry Finley transcription. Brought to you from Hollywood.
That's the Walter Vincent entry on the Diary of Fate from 1948. And since we're in a superstitious mood, let's listen to a show called The Origin of Superstition and Cleopatra's Opal.
Superstition. I am Superstition, a god, a false god who rules by fear. I demand a worship from rich and poor alike, from the weak and from the strong. My victims are many, my slaves are legion. You who scoff and disbelieve, listen to this story.
Speak the truth, slave. Your Queen Cleopatra, Queen of all Egypt, commands it.
Lash him. Lash him until he speaks truthfully. Then throw him to the chuckling crocodiles in the bulrushes. Release the chains.
I am but a galley slave. I swear I saw Nephthah, the daughter of the priest, with the opal. It was brilliant. It blinded me with colors, red, blue, and orange. That is all.
Lash him! Lash him! You told Cush, the galley slave, you knew the man she gave it to. Lash him! Lash him! I must know the one who holds the opal. Lash him!
No, I swear by arms, the dog of Hades, that is not true.
Give me the lash. Now, tell me the truth. Look upon yonder sphinx and swear.
He has swooned.
Throw him in the pit with the hungry tigers. They're howling for him. Begone, all of you.
Rest, my queen.
Oh, Charmian, I am weary unto death. Prepare my bath.
I obey, my queen.
The runners from Rome bring no word of Mark Antony.
No, my beloved queen.
Can he have failed me? If Julius Caesar were alive, the opal would be mine. If all Rome had to be disemboweled.
You shall have the opal. Here, let me perfume you. Attar of roses. I shall rub you with scented oil. You shall charm Mark Antony, even as you did Caesar.
Is my body soft and rounded, Charmian? Am I attractive?
Even as a Greek goddess.
Look, below the terrace. That murmur.
A runner has arrived from Rome, my queen. A chariot comes behind him. It is
Mark Antony. By all the gods.
Come on, you knave. Whoa. Announce me to your queen. Mark Antony from Rome.
It is he. He comes. My brave Mark Antony. My all.
My beloved queen, I am here.
Mark, hold me in your arms. Kiss me 1,000 times. My love, you have been long.
I fairly flew here, as fast as horses and chariot could go.
My runner told you of the opal, my desire for its possession.
Your desire is a command to me. I have brought the opal.
Light of my life, I shall prepare a feast.
But wait, I have brought the stone, but the owner is with it.
My sweet, my God, my all. Who is the man?
A Roman senator. Nonius is his name. A wealthy fellow. He waits outside.
Charmian, my desire is fulfilled. The opal is outside. Command the senator from Rome to come here.
I go, my queen.
It has been no small task to bring him here. Your charms must do the rest. Shh, he comes.
Advance. Welcome to my palace.
I kneel to the Queen of the Nile and all Egypt.
Arise. The Nile and all Egypt is for the pleasure of the senator from Rome.
Mark Antony have told me not. Why did you request my presence here?
Regarding the opal, the stone of 1,000,000 fires that you received from Nephthah.
Yes?
Other rulers boast of such a stone, the miracle stone. I must have it.
Nay, I would not part with it.
Come, Nonius, each man his price. Name yours.
The wealth of a whole province shall be yours for the bauble.
I'm superstitious. I fear to part with it. The ancients claim it has miraculous powers.
Give it to me, and I shall erect a chapel to you. Here, beside the pyramids, built of rose marble. Your name sculptured deep on it, in letters of gold and inlaid pearl.
Nay, keep the chapel. I keep the opal.
Give it to her, and I will bring great power to you in the forum at Rome.
Nay, I reject your bribe. The opal stays with me.
I shall invoke the gods to curse the stone.
Idle talk. You have no such power.
I shall bring a drought upon your province. Your loved ones will be groveling on the pavements in death's agony if you do not give me the opal.
Oh, you're monstrous. Go on. Wreak your boasted powers. Poison your slaves. Force your men to fight with tigers. Kill off your discarded lovers. But all in vain. the opal stone remains with me.
Enough! I shall ruin you at Rome.
One word more. Retain that opal and great unhappiness will pursue. The longer you hold it, the greater tragedies will stalk you. Its brilliance will attract all and prove their downfall. That is all. Begone!
Superstition! Superstition! I go.
Wait! You go, never to return to Rome. Ere you reach your province, a fleet runner from here will have reached Rome. You will be ordered banished. I now proclaim it. You are exiled forever from friends, from loved ones, from your native land.
The opal is accursed.
Time marches on.
Down through the ages comes the opal, spreading destruction in its wake. Down through the years, till 1933.
This is an auction sale, folks, for the effects of the late unfortunate world traveler, Dr. Hastings. They are offered for sale. Let me see. What shall I offer you first for your spirited bidding? Oh, yes, this famous opal, the stone of fire. What am I bid, folks?
Go on, bid on it, Louise. That's what you came for.
What am I
I'm
bid?
afraid maybe Henry would object.
How much am I bid? Who'll start it? How much am I bid? How much am I bid?
My blood fairly tingles to have it. Look at it shine. Oh, I must have it. It must be mine.
Then bid for it.
Remember, folks, this is the stone that Queen Cleopatra coveted but never obtained. Who will be the lucky one to get it?
I bid $10,000.
How ridiculous. A mere $10,000 for this priceless jewel. Who'll make it $20,000? Folks, do I hear $20,000?
Well, here goes. $20,000.
That's more like it. Who'll make it $30,000? Do I hear $30,000?
$30,000.
$30,000. Am I offered $40,000?
Oh, it must be mine. $40,000.
Sold to the little lady over there. $40,000 for the Cleopatra opal.
Time marches on.
Louise bought the opal against the wishes of her husband. His fortune swept away, he appeals to her for financial help.
But Louise, the $40,000 you spent for the opal, please sell it, and I can recoup my fortunes.
I can't sell it. I won't sell it. It belongs to me, and I want it. It fascinates me. Oh, it's my life, Henry.
It must be sold. I need the money. We both need it. If you hold on to it, in 6 months we'll be starving. Sell it, Louise.
I won't.
I'll kill myself if you don't, rather than face my creditors. Do you hear me? I'll kill myself.
Oh, do it if you're so childish. The opal stays with me. To part with it would mean bad luck.
You have chosen between superstition and me. Goodbye.
Time marches on.
Louise still holds the opal. Ill health has dogged her. As a relief from mental strain, she finds solace in drink. Strong drink.
Now, Louise, I'm sorry to see you going from bad to worse. You're drinking too much.
Don't make me laugh. I'm all right.
Yes, all right if you sell the opal. I felt the day you bought it, your luck had changed.
Superstition. The opal has nothing to do with it. Let's have another drink.
Oh, sell it, Louise. See if your luck doesn't turn.
Oh, I couldn't think of selling it. The ancients claimed it has miraculous powers.
Rubbish. Superstition. Sell the opal. Get on your feet. Take your place amongst your friends again.
Give up my darling opal? Never. Give up my friends? Yes. Have a little drink.
Time marches on.
Lower and lower, she sank into the depths of despair and iniquity. She clung to the bright, shining opal. Misfortune clung to her. Was it the opal or the disintegration of Louise herself? She has been arrested. Her crime, the saddest and oldest profession in the world.
Judge, please give me another chance. The police framed me. I'm a respectable woman.
You have a very bad record. By the way, aren't you the famous Louise Madison, the possessor of the Cleopatra opal?
What about my opal? It's mine. They want me to sell it.
And to think that you were rich, powerful friends, respected. What has wrought this change?
Fate. Ask the gods or the ancients. Don't blame it on the opal.
Sell the opal. Get on your feet, or I'll send you to prison as a vagrant.
I will not sell my opal.
The sentence of the court is 6 months on Welfare Island.
Prison. Disgrace. But I still have my opal.
Time marches on.
Louise went to prison, served her time, came out, disgraced and forgotten. Down, down, down into the gutter she landed. When old friends found her, she was dead. In her hand, clutched close to her heart, they found the opal.
I am Superstition. You don't believe, do you?
We will wrap up this week's program with an episode of Sam Spade. This is from 1950 and it's called Caper Over My Dead Body.
In response to requests representing millions of listening friends, the National Broadcasting Company is pleased indeed to bring you again The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective.
Hello?
Me, sweet. What number have I got?
The Sam Spade Detective Agency, but...
Oh, well, me, sweetheart.
Something's happened. Call me later, Dwight.
Dwight yet? Look.
I didn't know you were in town. You didn't write to me or...
Effie.
Yes?
This is me in the flesh, Sammy the Spade. Oh, now what?
Goodbye.
Effie, I'm in a payphone. My nickel is running out.
Oh, Dwight, how can you be so cruel and play jokes at a time like this?
Wait, listen. Ella, you listening?
Yes.
I am not dead. Don't believe everything you read in the papers.
Huh?
Or hear on the radio.
Yes.
You were at my funeral. Is that what you were about to say?
Yes. And it was lovely.
Don't believe that either. Stay right where you are, sweetheart, because I'll be there, alive and handsomer than ever, with an account of a caper which proves you can kill some of the people part of the time. My exaggerated report on the death of Sam Spade.
NBC welcomes back to the air a character who has captured the public imagination more completely than any other since the birth of Sherlock Holmes. William Spear, radio's outstanding producer-director of mystery and crime drama, brings you the greatest private detective of them all in The Adventures of Sam Spade.
Ain't it grand to be bloomin' well dead? Candles at my feet, candles at my head.
We're not open for business today. I mean, Mr. Spade's office is closed right now because...
I'll wait.
Oh, you look just like Mr. Spade. What's your name?
Spade. S-P-A-D-E. Spade.
Sam never told me he had a twin brother.
He doesn't.
But then you...
I'm me, Sam. Oh, wait, come here. Now do you believe me?
Well, I know.
Oh, what's the use?
Oh, you're so much like him.
Oh, never mind. Now get your pencil and paper and take it. Date November 17th, 1950. To Miss Effie Perrine.
That's me.
From Samuel Spade. That's me. License number 137596.
You must have been the last one to see him alive. Did he tell you to give me a message?
Shut up. Subject, my death. Dear Effie, since the sight of me in the flesh, breathing, hungering, and living doesn't convince you, maybe this report will. Think, if you can, back to last Monday. Now, if you recall, it was about 11 o'clock when, on the flimsy pretense that we needed stamps for the office, you drew $2 from petty cash and stepped out to buy a pair of step-ins. And that's when my client materialized. He was small and thin and carried with him the unmistakable odor of stale flowers. His black alpaca suit, string bow tie, elevator shoes, and white gloves had no bearing on his conversation.
Oh, dear. My name is Chester Swan.
Are you sure?
Yes.
My name is Spade. What can I do for you?
How tall are you, Mr. Spade?
6 feet in my feet.
Weight?
178.
I always notice a man's bone structure, don't you?
Oh, always.
Open.
Huh?
Open. Let me see inside.
I guess?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Fine.
Oh, well, now that you know me this well, Mr. Swan, what can I do for you?
Oh, dear. Perhaps I shouldn't have come here at all. I'm sorry, Mr. Spade.
Well, really?
Oh, dear.
Oh, hello again, Mr. Swan. You wanted to talk to me?
Yes, but I can't talk now. Mr. Spade.
Still here.
There. I live at 8516 Claremont in Berkeley. I'll be there tonight. Oh, dear.
This time, as he made his exit, he left $50 on the edge of my desk. And so, stupid me, I was at 8516 Claremont at the close of the day. It was a small white cottage with green shutters and a white picket fence. There was a hill in back and a brook in front. The sun was beginning to set on it, and it was all very picturesque. In fact, so much so that a girl with red hair, blue jeans, purple smock, oils, and canvas was making it immortal. She liked me immediately.
Here, hold this.
Certainly.
Like it?
Oh, yeah.
This is my first landscape. I'm a sprouting artist.
Obvious. Makes your own?
Not when I can get somebody to do it for me. Who are you?
Oh, I might be a fellow artist.
Don't do that. You're a liar. You're Sam Spade. I saw your picture in a newspaper clipping when I was helping Chester clean out his desk before he moved it.
But
You don't know an easel from a palette.
Oh, but I could learn.
I take it seriously.
Well, then so do I.
I doubt it. You've never tried to get away, to stand off, to throw off the shackles, have you?
No. I'll have to admit that the urgency of living, the pressure of merely existing, has had to...
Catfish, Sam. By the way, I'm Amy Goodrich.
Catfish?
The world is full of unhappy people who never try to get away from it all.
Well, honest...
Stop it.
But I wanted to, really.
Honestly, Sam, get away from everything. Leave, dissolve.
I've dreamed of it.
Never return.
Cross my heart.
Mm-hmm. What are you doing here?
To see Mr. Swan.
He isn't home yet. His house is a wonderful subject. Look, Sam, colorful, moderate, pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
That is until the sun stops shining. But picture it at night in the fog. Crushed with barrenness, full of death, brooding, ominous. I'm trying to capture that, too. It's what we've got to get away from, isn't it?
Absolutely. You and I...
Sam, as you start up the hill on Claremont, there's a green apartment house on the right. I'm in 420.
Well, maybe we'll find a way out together.
Maybe.
I waved her a fond farewell and sat on the steps of my client's house until he showed up at 6:15. He took me inside, where the only furniture was an army cot and a portable barbecue.
I'm so glad you kept our appointment, Mrs. Spade. I'm so frightened. I've been upset all week long. I didn't know what to do. I just didn't.
And what have you been so upset about, Mr. Swan?
Well, lately, Mr. Spade, infrequently, for the last week, I've noticed a man. I think he's following me.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I'd see him in a car following my bus when I went downtown. Then he'd be waiting around at the bus stop in the evening when I came back.
Oh.
I've sold my house, and I'm ready to move. It's unnerved me so much, but...
Did he follow you home tonight?
No, but
well, would anyone be following you, Mr. Swan?
Well, I don't know, Mr. Spade. I don't know. I really don't.
All right, I'll try another tack. What does this man look like?
He always wears dark clothes and a hat. I'd say he was about your height.
6 feet.
I remember. Maybe heavier. Same bone structure, though.
Yeah, you haven't been to the police.
Oh, dear, no. A man in my business can't afford off-color publicity.
No? What kind of business is that?
The Bonton Mortuary.
Oh.
25 years. Ooh. Same location. Oh, and I've worked hard. So very hard. And if there's something behind all this, something that has stopped me from being made the executive secretary of the Undertakers Breakfast Club when they hold their annual election next month, I don't know what I'll do, Mr. Spade. I just don't really know what I'll do. I just don't.
Oh, go ahead, Mr. Swan. You'll feel better. Just let it all out. Just really do. And he did. When he stopped crying, I instructed him to go about his daily habits as always and left, assuring him I'd get to the bottom of it all. I walked down to the corner ostentatiously, which is a neat trick well calculated to throw nefarious observers off the track and lull them into false security. And when the bus showed up 10 minutes later, I got on it, rode 3 blocks, walked back, and took a plant across the street. A clever ruse, as you see, to invite a showdown. 2 hours later, a man about my size in dark clothes appeared over the hill and crept stealthily to the front of my client's cottage. He had his eyes glued to the window when I walked up behind him.
Hey, let go of me.
Come on, you're going inside.
Listen, I'm no peeping Tom.
No, you're the bloodhound type. I'm inviting you in for a real sniff at your
no,
quarry.
you don't. Well, all right, then I'll go quietly.
Okay, that's better. Now we'll just walk on. The kick he landed on me wasn't according to Queensberry. I couldn't move for 3 or 4 minutes, and by that time he disappeared. When I recovered my faculties, I reported the incident to my client, who cried himself to sleep. After I bolted him in for the night, I stopped on my way down the hill at apartment 420 in the little green apartment house. She was still wearing the blue jeans and the purple smock, and she still had the same ideas.
Come in, Sam. You said you were serious about getting away from it all, and a whole day has passed.
It was that pressure of living. I'm here to apologize.
You are not, but go ahead.
I'm sorry, Angel.
I love to be fooled, Sam. You're forgiven.
How's the painting coming? The one of Swan's cottage.
Slow. Fog is always tough.
Looks nice, though. How long you been on it?
3 weeks all told.
Well, then you've had a pretty good plant on the house, haven't you? Ever notice a tall, broad-shouldered guy in a dark suit casing the place?
Tall, broad-shouldered.
Pretty much like me.
Could anybody be pretty much like you, Sam?
No, you're right.
Sam, is there something wrong?
No.
Well, then don't stand there doing nothing. Do something.
Who, me? Amy fixed me a small dinner which had a strong turpentine taste to it, and then we mixed oils and painted and made fudge. Next afternoon at the Hall of Records, I did a little spade work on Chester Swan. His application and permit to practice undertaking in the city of San Francisco were dated 1938. Details: unmarried, 52 years of age, graduated from mortician school in Ohio, listed one living relative, nephew, Theodore J. Swan, Toledo, Ohio. I was gathering the above information when I smelled whiskey over my shoulder, which is always good luck. It was Al Torrington, who was also in the private investigation racket in this city, and he was leaning, peering from my face to the card that I held in my hand.
He get over to you too, Sam?
Who got over to me, Al?
Him? That thinny with the tears. What's his name? My eyes ain't so good.
Swan, Al. Chester Swan. Mortician.
Yeah, that's him, Sam. The same one exactly. Came to my office 2 weeks complaining about somebody following him. And he did nothing about it. Said I was too fat.
Oh, well, you are, Al. Are you sure?
Sure, I'm sure. And some other the boys said he was around there, too. Wanted a private eye, but he wanted a man who looked just right.
How right?
Obviously as right as you are, Sam, because it looks like he picked you. Yeah. yeah.
Yes, F, it did look like he picked me. And I thought that over, and I didn't like it. And I called my client at home to tell him he was fired, but he didn't give me a chance.
Oh, dear, I'm so glad you called, Mr. Spade. I really am.
I called for a reason, Mr. Swan. I'm resigning this case.
Oh, dear, Mr. Spade, you can't do that. You really can't.
I don't think you've been quite honest with me, Mr. Swan.
Oh, dear.
Tears will get you nowhere. I made a routine check on your reasons for hiring me, and they don't quite fit with the reasons you gave. They really just don't quite, Mr. Swan.
It's no game, Mr. Spade, believe me. He's back tonight. Right now, he's standing beneath the lamppost outside my window, and I'm frightened to death. Please hurry over, Mr. Spade, and let's get this business straightened out. Please.
And stupid me, I went over. And I found that little white cottage on the hill looking grim and gaunt in the heavy fog. Amy's words about it being crushed with barrenness, full of brooding and death, came back to me. And Mr. Swan's frightened words about a mysterious man in dark clothes waiting beneath the streetlight also came back to me, particularly when I noted there was no streetlight near the house. However, there was a light somewhere in the rear of the house, and the front door was ajar. Oh, Mr. Swan! Mr. Swan, are you here? Oh, Mr. Swan, it's me, Sam Spade. Are you here?
Mr. Spade? Is that you? Are you out there?
Where are you? Things happened fast. I turned around to find the front door filled with a man in a dark suit. He had something in his hand. It looked like a roll of cotton candy, but it felt different. It It only staggered me against the wall, but it made me forget where my arms were.
Easy, Spade. Easy does it, boy. Easy.
He let me down to the floor gently. I could still see the lights somewhere in the back of the house, and I could hear him talking way off.
Take off his coat. Quick. Give me the needle.
Hurry. I can't watch. I'm going upstairs.
The needle went somewhere in my left arm, but not before somebody pulled my coat off, and for no reason I could think of at the moment, also tried to pull my finger off. Well, I couldn't dwell on it. By that time, the stuff in my arm was going other places, and I was going with it, even though there was action all around me.
This ought to do it.
No, stay away from me. Get out of here.
Vaguely, somewhere, somebody was shooting Roman candles or having blowouts or playing bebop. I just didn't care at all. I just didn't. The first thing I saw was sunlight. It was the kind you see in a picture. It was a picture of a little white cottage with green shutters. You guessed it. I was in Amy's apartment, where we made fudge together. I got to my feet somehow.
Right here. I've had it there for 2 days. We'll have to figure out the best thing to do with him, though.
I knew the best thing to do with me. There was a fire escape in a window. I got out there and I weaved against the wall.
He's gone. He's gone.
What do you mean he's gone? He couldn't have gotten away with that load he was carrying.
I don't know. He was unconscious when I left.
Well, don't just stand there. We've got to do something. There might be trouble. Now, let's get going.
I didn't wait to find out what they were going to do. I made my way down the fire escape and started walking for the street, and that's when I noticed my shoes didn't fit me anymore. They weren't mine. And neither was the gray flannel suit with the label marked Tidkeys. Neither was the blue shirt. While I was at it, the ring on my finger engraved Emerson High 1936 wasn't mine either. My new belt buckle had a big letter T on it, which is not my initial. It really isn't. And I didn't have any use for the eyeglasses in my coat pocket either. You were out when I walked in the office, F, but you'd been there. There was a black crepe done up in a white satin ribbon hanging on the door. The desk blotter was drenched with salt tears, and a newspaper folded back to page 13, and I'll sue the Chronicle on this if it's the last thing I do, gave me a 2-inch spread. Item, November 15th, 1950. 15? What happened to the 13th and the 14th? Detective perishes in Berkeley fire. I read it through once, then twice. It was my obituary.
You are listening to the first in a new series of adventures involving radio's most famous detective, Sam Spade. Later tonight on most NBC stations, Duffy's Tavern comes your way with another merry half-hour session, starring Ed Gardner as Archie the manager. There's a full serving of laughs garnished with chuckles and whipped up by Archie and his unpredictable friends, Miss Duffy, Clifton Finnegan, and Eddie the waiter. It's just one of the many great Friday evening entertainment features on NBC. It's Duffy's Tavern, your cue for better listening where the 3 chimes always mean good times. Make it a Friday evening habit to tune early and stay late at your favorite NBC station. And now back to Caper Over My Dead Body, tonight's adventure with Sam Spade.
I left the crepe on the door and went out to buy a new desk blotter and some more newspapers. The Hobo News had the best story, which wasn't much. Samuel Spade, licensed private investigator, perished Wednesday night in a fire in a vacant house in Berkeley. His warm friends will feel regret at the passing of a man who was always kind to the poor. None of us ever asked Sam Spade for a handout without receiving a kind word and bon mot as he turned us down. This was nice, but I wanted more. Figured I was fairly safe to wander about unrecognized. My ill-fitting attire acquired from my unknown benefactor would be disguise enough when combined with my 2-day beard. Engine Company 16, Berkeley Division, had handled the fire, and half a block away was a grog shop called the Shamrock. I waited for a fireman to come in.
Bartender! What kind of a place are you running now? I've been here 5 minutes already.
All right, shut up, Patty. You just arrived.
Well, it seemed like 5 minutes. A wee bit more there, if you don't mind.
That's enough for you, Paddy. You're still on duty.
I am not. I'm off now. The chief said I could be off. It ain't every day I receive such a shock to me system.
You received your shock 3 days ago.
And I'm still shaking, man. Oh, the sight of him was terrible, terrible. Burnt as black as the good saint's beard. All twisted and horrible in death.
He was probably dead drunk and didn't know what happened to him.
And were you there fighting the flames and finding him like me? Oh, it was terrible, terrible, terrible. Terrible.
It wasn't that bad, and you've had your limit.
And who says so?
I say so.
Oh, you do you? And who are you?
Your brother-in-law.
Well, now.
Well, maybe I can spot you one, Paddy.
I never drink with strangers. What's your name?
O'Doolin.
Well, you heard the man. Go ahead, pour. Cheers.
Yeah. Fireman, you had a terrible experience 3 days ago.
Oh, that I did, Mr. O'Doolin. That I did indeed, that I did.
I've heard it a dozen times. I'll be at the other end.
It was 3 nights ago, Mr. O'Doolin, and we get a call to the house on Claremont is afire. Well, sir, when we get there, it's about all gone. Can't understand why it went up flames so fast.
Wood.
It was the funeral pyre of a man who lived in sin.
Huh?
A detective fellow. Sam Spade, he was identified as. Oui.
Oh, one moment, Fireman. I've heard fine things about him.
Some of those uppity police fellas from the Division of Homicide said he was a nice fellow. But some of the boys at the fire station and myself, well, we got our own ideas about that.
Oh, what kind of ideas, Paddy, me boy?
What kind of good can any man be accomplishing in an empty house late at night, I ask you, Mr. O'Doolin? Oh, he was done to a turn, he was, when I burst in the door with me axe. Saved Satan the trouble.
Charred.
Empty whiskey bottles scattered all about. Sin, O'Doolin, sin. He'd gone to sleep with a smoking cigarette that set the whole place off. Vice rampant.
From there, I went downtown to a telegraph office where I sent a wire to Toledo on a long chance. And while I was waiting for an answer on a not-so-long chance, I slunk into the Bon Ton funeral parlor to pay my respects to the departed. I stood in the back of that dimly lit chapel and scanned the scene. 3 of the boys from Homicide were there, blowing their noses. 2 chorus girls I thought had long since forgotten me were there in black, deep V-necks. My insurance man was there, looking awful worried. 1 Chronicle reporter with photographer, and a shoeshine boy from our building, and the bailiff from the courthouse, just to mention a few I could make out. And you were there, Effie, up front near a closed casket. I made out a bower of flowers from robbery detail. It said, "Goodbye, Sam." Maxie from the city morgue was the only one who looked at ease.
All right. Does anyone wish to, you, miss?
Many called him Shamus, but I called him friend. On this, his last caper,
I was touched, Effie, and I would have stopped the whole thing then and there, but I had to find out who was in that casket. I reeled out the front door with tears in my eyes and slid around to the back door and into Chester Swan's private office. And there I made a phone call and got an answer to my telegram, which caused me to make another call to his bank. By that time, most of it was right in place. A search through his desk revealed nothing, and a safe standing in the corner the same. But then my answer walked right in the door.
Oh, Sam, darling, I was so worried when I found you'd left, but I saw you at the funeral and I thought you'd be here.
And the guy was with you? Was he worried, too?
Oh, him. That was Dr. Jesslyn. Sam, you'd been out for 2 days, and I didn't... Oh, Sam, you're safe. You got away from it all. You've escaped, darling.
Yeah. They're burying me right now. I'm dead.
It's so wonderful, Sam.
Only one thing. Where do you fit? The caper. I was supposed to burn up in that fire, and what was left was supposed to look enough like Theodore J. Swan, class of 1936, Toledo, Ohio, to let beneficiary Chester Swan collect a nice pile of insurance money.
Sam, what are you talking about? Who's Theodore J.? What did you say?
Chester's only living relative. They're burying him right now. Somebody lost his caper. You want to tell me?
Darling, I was at the house the night of the fire, working on my foggy picture. You didn't see me when you went in, and later on you didn't come out. And I went over...
And I was on the floor, and a man was bending over me.
He changed clothes with you, Sam, and I screamed, and he pulled out a gun, and I hit him with a hoe. And I drug you out on the lawn.
And then what happened?
I put you in my car and took you home. I was going to phone the police, but I decided it was something you were working on, and I went back to the house, and
it was burning, and you knew the man you'd hit on the head was in there.
Believe me, Sam, I didn't know the house was going to burn down. I wouldn't kill anybody, Sam. I only wanted to...
You only wanted to help me, and you did right, Angel.
Oh, Sam.
That's all right. I'm your witness. You didn't start the fire.
You mean somebody really started it?
Chester. He thought it was me lying on the floor in there. The bank tells me he's about to go busted. He figured this one out with his nephew to scare up some insurance, though. I'm about the same size.
Hold me, Sam. Hold me. It's been horrible. This is the kind of thing I was trying to paint. Now I'm smack dab up against it, and I'm sick. I'm scared.
Easy.
Sam, you're really dead. There's our way out, Sam. Just leave now. Let it go the way it is. They all think you're dead.
Oh, dear.
Huh?
But we know different, don't we, Mr. Spade?
He was holding a Navy Colt revolver in front of him with both hands. I couldn't make up my mind to rush him and count on his bad aim or stand still and be a perfect target while I tried to talk him out of it. Either way, he was a crazy man with a gun, and he was getting ready to use it.
Sam, he's going to kill us.
Mr.
Quiet,
Spade,
Amy.
because my nephew was stupid enough to wear your watch and your suit when he exchanged clothes with you, I'm going to lose the bon ton.
And that puts you in quite a spot, doesn't it, Mr. Swan?
Until a moment ago, yes, but now... Mr. Spade, the newspapers all say you're dead. The death certificate says the same thing. All of your friends are following your casket and my nephew's corpse to the cemetery at this very moment. Everybody expects you to be dead, Mr. Spade.
Thanks to you, Mr. Swan.
But now, nobody'd miss you if I killed you.
I'd miss you, Sam.
But I'd have to kill you, too.
Oh.
Did you notice you're still wearing Theodore's clothes, even his ring? Why, Mr. Spade, I could kill you and put you in a fire somewhere and collect my insurance on Theodore now, couldn't I?
No. Why, that's a terrible thing to think.
Huh?
Oh, you're not reasoning properly, Chester. You really aren't. How would you explain Amy? You just said you'd have to kill her. And what about the coroner's office? You know how they are.
But really...
Don't forget the medical examiner's got something to say, too. Not to mention the fact that you'd have to really burn me up to cover up the bullet hole. And furthermore, Chester, when you shoot me, if you happen to hit a rib and chip off some bone, they'd know I was shot before, and then homicide'd be in on it.
Oh, no, stop. Nothing works for me. I'm a failure.
Oh, go ahead, Mr. Swan. Let it all out. You'll feel better. And he did. And he's still crying in his cell downtown. Period. End of report.
Oh, Sam, you were so brave. You actually stood there and talked that crazy man out of murdering you. You were wonderful.
True, Effie? Amy thinks so, too. She's going to do me in oils when they let her out of the pokey.
Amy's in jail? What for, Sam?
Oh, technical charge of an involuntary manslaughter. They'll spring her as soon as the coroner's inquest is completed. Dear Amy.
Did she make good fudge, Sam?
Fudge? Oh, that was the least of it.
Oh? What do you mean?
After the fudge.
What then?
Panucci. Oh, boy. Say, go type that up, sweetheart, while I see if there's any mention of my miraculous resuscitation on the radio page. Go. Scoot.
There certainly is a mention of Sam Spade on the radio page for Friday. Sam Spade is one more in the list of great shows to join up in NBC's Parade of the Stars. Have you heard The Big Show? This Sunday, The Big Show comes your way once again on NBC. Listen to just a few of the star names who will be appearing this week. Bob Hope, Jimmy Durante, Perry Como, Jose Ferrer, Mindy Carson, Eddie Cantor, Meredith Wilson and his orchestra, and many, many more. And, of course, your MC once again will be the lady who invented the snappy retort, Tallulah Bankhead. Yes, it's The Big Show. It's big in music, big in drama, and big in comedy. Be sure to hear The Big Show Sunday.
Well, here it is, Sam. all typed up.
Good. I will sign it, and you will keep it, always, to remind you that I'm still here.
Oh, Sam.
Living, breathing, brave, and handsome. A paragon.
Sam, what will we do about the mail?
The mail? What mail? Where? Which?
All the letters and postcards and telegrams and all that came when people thought you... Oh, when you weren't good... When they thought you were...
Oh, there have been enough tears tonight, Effie.
Oh, Sam, it's so good to have you back. Will you be the same as you always were?
Well, I'm going to try, Effie.
Because then you can't help but be, like they say, the greatest private detective of them all.
We'll see.
Good night, Sam.
Good night, sweetheart.
The Adventures of Sam Spade are produced, edited, and directed by William Spear. Sam Spade was played by Stephen Dunn. Lorene Tuttle is Effie. Script for tonight's adventure by E. Jack Newman. Musical scoring by Lud Gluskin, conducted by Frank Worth. Join us again next week, same time, for another adventure with Sam Spade. Hear the magnificent Montague, then visit Duffy's Tavern on NBC.
That's it for this week. We'll be back next week with more old-time radio. I hope you can join us then. Till then, this is Jim Dolan thanking you for listening. The RTC Weekly Download is produced by Chris Stone and Jim Dolan.